Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Center of the University of Toronto Maple Leafs podcast. Your hosts Cole Hayes and Ben Hodgson here. Ben, how you doing, buddy?
Good man, good. Yeah, we just celebrated a birthday for little Cole, my son Cole. Just turned 3 years old on the weekend, so I do have to throw a little shout out to my buddy Strife, who made this absolutely incredible custom Spider-Man floor rug for him for his birthday. My my son loves Spider-Man, and yeah, he made this just this incredible rug, like 4 feet by 4 feet. Thing's huge. But yeah, if you guys anybody needs a custom rug made, check out Strife Made on Instagram. Make sure you guys check it out because I'll tell you, he did a freaking great job on the one for my kid, and he loves it. So yeah, it was good. Did some winter barbecuing for everybody, and that was a great time.
Yeah, I was saying to Ben, before the show, like winter barbecuing and winter drinking are like they're outdoor activities that can be done just year round, drinking and barbecuing. And happy birthday to the better Cole, if you ask most of the people that listen to this podcast. Um,
Well, the cooler one for sure.
the cooler one for sure. He doesn't have an obsession with Adam Gaudette that no one really knows why he does. I don't even think I understand it.
Oh, on
But
pace for what, 50 goals in the AHL this year?
Adam Gaudette's often pace for a 50 goal AHL season. That's he's not going to hit it because he's going to be up with the Leafs soon. But
Well, if the injuries keep piling up the way they have, good God, this team cannot stay healthy.
yeah, do we want to start with that? Like, just this defense is in shambles, and not the shambles it was in a few years ago, where it was just this defense sucks. Like Muzzin, we know is probably never gonna like. There's a good chance Jake Muzzin never plays in the NHL again. TJ Brody, they're expecting him to be out longer than initially expected, and Morgan Rielly, I believe it was an MCL sprain, is the rumor, but it is a knee injury and is on LTIR, so he's out until at least I don't know if we see Morgan
Minimum
Rielly again in 2022. Like,
minimum 10 games or 24 days for LTIR usage. So, um, yeah, we talked a lot when Sandin was holding out for his contract about he's holding out for an opportunity and not so much the money, and then he ended up signing for exactly the money that Dubas had offered in the first place and the exact same contract that Liljegren got. So I'm inclined to believe that. Uh, Here's your opportunity, buddy.
hey,
You're, welcome to the top four.
welcome
Shit.
to the top pairing, arguably. Like
Yeah,
because
yeah. I mean,
might lead the lefty in ice time just because Mark Giordano was great, but like, are you gonna run a 39-year-old 24 minutes a night?
I I think they might. There was a quote from Sheldon Keefe. Someone asked him, how far could you push Mark Giordano, and he said, "We might find out."
You know what?
Like
Bring it on.
up to this point, any questions at all about ice time or about maintenance days or anything for Giordano, he has flatly refused. Like didn't even want to talk about it. So I hey, if Giordano's got to be the top pair lefty, the guy won a Norris in what 2019. It's not like he's not a regular 39-year-old NHL player. You know what I mean? He's always been a late bloomer. He got to start late in the NHL. He didn't build up the massive amounts of injuries that a lot of people have. If he's going to be our top guy, I guess he's our top guy. But I mean, Sandin is already taking over the top power play unit, so we might see him start racking up some points with that power play because he is a very, very good power play quarterback.
Yeah, it's definitely Sandin's strong suits are definitely in the offensive zone. And you know what? Like, he talked about the opportunity. Yeah, like Morgan Rielly was already out of this game with the injury, and Sandin stood up for Auston Matthews. He got his lunch fed to him by Oliver Wallstrom, who just was at the knuckle sandwich buffet. But you know what? He stood up for Matthews, which is something that this team hasn't. They've done it more this year. Like there was obviously when Giordano and Bunting went after Travis Konechny. There's Morgan Rielly standing up for Josh Morrissey, but there seems to be more of that this year from this team. Um,
which is so refreshing to see. So refreshing. I just by the end of the season, I want to see Willie get in the scrum.
that'd be great.
I want them to get to that point where Willie at least grabs hold of somebody. I don't want him to fight, but grab onto somebody.
He was probably the most fired up with after the Sandin fight. Like, and I get it, like their buddies, like some of the like all the Swedes sort of seem to be friends just based on what we see on like social media and that. But like Willie was the one that was like bringing the gloves to Sandin. It reminded me of like when Xavier Laflamme is like nice fight to Dougie Glatt in Goon. Like same kind of vibe between the two, if we're being honest. But
except Doug Glatt won the fight.
yeah, except Doug Glatt killed guys.
Yeah,
like
Sandin's face ended up looking like he dropped the gloves with Doug Glatt. I think it was more the dismount, the fall that got him. Man, he got his face rammed right into the ice hard.
Yeah,
but it might be worth it if Sandin's going to make a habit of dropping the mitts. He might want to spend a little extra time before practice with Wayne Simmons and maybe get a couple of lessons on how to not get your teeth punched in.
that is if Simmons doesn't get claimed on waivers, but
yeah, I think that's just because his exemption ran out. Like it's not like they're they're just putting him back through. I think it's another Jason Spezza situation where it's like I don't know how badly Simmer wants to play for a different team right now. I'm sure he wants to play.
Yeah. Like I accepted a trade to Buffalo to be closer to home. Like I don't think he's leaving the GTA and Buffalo in like 2020.
Yeah.
Like
what's the difference? They started hot. They're sucking now. What's the difference between Buffalo in 2020 and 2022?
they didn't have the goat head jerseys.
Yeah. Oh man, how just like chef's kiss on those. Those setups look absolutely unbelievable. And I've seen Craig Anderson's pads for when they wear those. His gear is just, it's gonna be perfect, man. I'm jealous of Buffalo fans for getting to have that jersey back because it looks so much better than anything that they've been wearing in the last decade.
Their current jerseys, I really like their current jerseys. I think people are giving them too much shit because they want the goat heads back. Like their white jerseys look good on the game Saturday. It was the only thing about the Sabres that did, but
the whites are okay, but the black goat head jersey, iconic.
It's maybe the best jersey of all time. Like,
yeah, it's pretty good. I have to say, seeing Florida's reverse retro on the ice, man, it's sexy. It's sexy. I'm into it.
yeah, I didn't like them when they first came out. Like, I was kind of like, I think like I was like these look like they like want to be Miami and they're not. They're Sunrise, but they're nice. They are nice.
They're nice. They're nice. They lost in them, but the jerseys looked good.
Yeah, that's all that matters sometimes. It's like the Leafs. It's like the Leafs when they wore the all white jerseys against Washington. They lost, but they looked good. Which is kind of what you could say about last night's game against the Islanders, if we're being honest. Like they looked good for 57 minutes. They were playing some of their best hockey of the season. Like I was ready to be like that was their most complete game of the season. And then the last 3 minutes plus overtime happened.
Yeah, I mean, I know how much you hate the deserve to win meter, but the Leafs deserve to win that game. It had them like it was crazy lopsided, like 75% towards the Leafs, and they still found a way to lose the game. And I mean, I know they're playing their fourth string starter, like their fourth string goaltender, but I'm gonna steal a line from Steve Dangle here. If you're a goaltender, tend the goal. Like,
I can't believe that shit, man. Like
horrendous giveaway after, and he took the puck away from Jordy Ben to do it. And it wasn't like, it was into an empty net either. He also, like, he gave the puck away. He had time to get back to the net and then didn't make a save. Let the puck go through him. And the one thing that I've learned, the one thing that I've been taught, I haven't been playing goalie well, I've been playing goalie for 10 years now, but the one thing that I have been taught by one of the few people that's actually helped me out with it is any goal that goes through your body, gets between your glove and your pad, or under your arm, any goal that goes through your body is a bad goal. And that was not only a horrible play to give the puck away, but it was a bad goal too. You have to have those ones. You can't be letting pucks go through you. Like, your job is to make the shooter shoot around you, and he didn't. The guy shot it right at him, and it just went right through. I think it wasn't Nelson, was
It was
it?
Josh Bailey,
Josh Bailey.
who like I think that's where I get really frustrated with it. Is like the Leafs played so good for 57 minutes. They had the Islanders were doing a line change, and like it was 5-2 in terms of blue sweaters versus white and orange sweaters in the Leaf zone, and not only taking away the puck from Jamie Benn, who right now is like that's like taking the puck away from Bobby Orr, but if you but like you then just gave it right to Josh Bailey. Like it wasn't even you had Jordy Ben there, you had Callie Yarncroke, like he
He
had
had to pass it through
options.
two Islanders. There were two
Yeah.
Islanders where he passed it to, which is why I got mixed up. I forgot who got the puck because there were two of them there that he threw it right at. It's like,
Yeah, and it was like
just a terrible play. And I understand. Look, he's our fourth string guy, and we've got obviously an injury to Ilya Samsonov and an injury to Joe Wall, and Matt Murray had played 3 straight games. And okay, you got to give him a break because if he goes down, then we're really fucked. But man, gets to the point, man, where it's like, is Keith Petruzzelli really any worse than this?
yeah,
I know he's only played like 6 or 8 games in the AHL, but like, he hasn't lost in the AHL. I don't think he's lost yet. He was 6-0 when he first got called up.
what it is with Shalgren is like he's probably like as a third, fourth goalie option, he's fine when it's like, yeah, he's up for I think part of the reason fans are so frustrated with him is because he's played so much this year because of injuries. But when you have a goalie that can be as uncertain as Matt Murray, you're gonna need a goaltender that is reliable in the AHL. And Shalgren's great because he can clear through waivers. He's not young, like he's older than Ilya Samsonov, but he's very weird because like he's not an ugly goalie to watch. Like it's not like Garrett Sparks or something like that. He's actually pretty like cool, calm, and collected in the crease. It's just every now and then he'll let in just a terrible backbreaking goal. Like, and that goal, I'm not going to fault him for the overtime. I saw some people faulting him for the overtime goal. Um, I think the people that were going at him and Hall for that goal are just looking for a whipping boy there. But that like
Well,
he costed them
Hall,
the game with that play.
yeah, Hall did his job on the OT goal. Like, he kept. Uh, oh, good God. I cannot remember. The Islanders are so forgettable. I don't
It was
even
Anthony
know.
Beauvillier
Uh,
that scored the winner.
Beauvillier,
So
yeah. Like Hall kept him to the outside and did a good enough job that I think Shelgren probably should have had that one. Like, you want to be an NHL goaltender, make that save. Make that save. Stop
yeah, but
that.
we
Stop
we've
that puck.
said we've
It's
said
not
on the
like it was a
podcast
break.
before he's not an NHL center though.
No, no, and it would have helped if one of the Leafs' possessions in overtime had led to any type of scoring chance. Good God, man, they cannot figure out overtime this year. 3-on-3, you would think a team with this much skill would just run the show at 3-on-3, and they just can't figure it out, man. Like,
It's
yeah, they're
it's so
better off. Honestly, they're better off just taking, like, trying to take a coincidental penalty at the start of overtime so that after 2 minutes it becomes 4-on-4. Like get Michael Bunting out there to goad someone into punching him in the face and hope that Bunting doesn't get the only penalty. Because aside from that, man, this team cannot play 3-on-3. We suck at it.
Yeah, like
I was joking. I was joking after the Islanders tied it. I said, pull the goalie, man. Pull Shogard right now. Get 6 skaters out there and get a goal, because if it goes to overtime, we're not winning this thing.
yeah, and I see people being like, well, at least there's no 3-on-3 on the playoffs, but we don't win at 5-on-5 in the playoffs either, so
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. But like I look at the like I think the reason you talked about the deserve to win meter, the Leafs deserved to win this game up until overtime started, when every pass they tried to make was either a drop pass that led to a turnover or an icing. Like it was.
Yeah, Willie had a rough one in overtime, and then it's hilarious. Of course, now that it's becoming a real problem. This overtime thing, they're practicing it more. They're playing 3-on-3 more at practice, and of course,
Loser
one that
mentality.
they did at practice today. The first one that they did at practice today, 3-on-3, it was Willie that scored on the first shift. Like immediately walked in and scored.
I'm gonna say
because he's playing against the Leafs.
I'm gonna say
if you're
practicing 3-on-3 overtime, you have a losing mentality. Maybe that's harsh, but I just think win the game at 5-on-5, win the game outright in regulation, so you don't have to worry about 3-on-3 overtime if you're so bad at it.
Well, listen, I mean, there's going to be games that go to overtime. It's going to happen. Right?
Of course.
A game that goes to overtime cannot be a guaranteed loss. You have to take some time and figure it out, because clearly right now they don't have it figured out.
Do it. I don't get it. It's like it's all about skill and creativity. Just throw out 3 forwards. Be like, we're going to throw out Matthews, Marner, and Nylander.
Well, we might see that now that the D is so worn down. I mean, what are you gonna throw Gio out there? You gonna throw? I guess you could throw Sandy or Liljegren out there, give them a shot. But
yeah, Justin Hall probably like.
Oh God!
I think Justin Hall, like when Justin Hall's feeling like health and 3-on-3 is kind of, I don't want to say meant to be, but like he'd be good at 3-on-3, man.
Justin Hall gonna get the Leafs next OT winner.
Yeah.
We need to get a sports book sponsor so we can set up a prop bet on that.
That'd be great. Let's get like the underground bookie sponsor the podcast.
Yeah. The Center of the Universe podcast brought to you by Cousin Vinny.
We'll start calling people out. Be like, hey, Rob from Ajax, if you don't give Cousin Vinny the $5,000 you owe him, he's gonna break both your kneecaps. Like,
oh jeez, yeah,
man. Like,
I mean, what's scary now is Justin Hall, by attrition, has made it onto the top pairing. The top pairing right now is Giordano Hall, and then you've got the Swede pairing. You've got Sandy and Liljegren, and then Jordy Ben and Mac Hollowell, who I have to give you credit. You mentioned Mac Hollowell on the last podcast as an option for a call-up.
Did I actually?
You did, yeah. We were talking about the Leafs D depth. Well, Carl Dahlstrom's on LTIR. Who do you call up next? Now, I am a little bit shocked that Victor Mete isn't getting any yes. Like, did we forget that Victor Mete exists?
I think here's the thing. We know what we have with Victor Mete, and he's also younger than Mac Hollowell, I'm pretty sure. Because Hollowell was drafted. Mac Hollowell's 26. He was an overager from the Sioux Greyhounds when he got drafted. But I think you put Hollowell in because like you never know what we don't know what Mac Hollowell
level. He's 24.
Oh, I don't know why I thought he was 26.
98, baby. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought he was 26, but still 24. That's kind of in the like. You're kind of getting to the point where you're too old to be a prospect and not quite, but you're not quite old enough where it's like we're gonna write you off either.
Well, it's shit or get off the pot time.
Yeah, and there's guys like the Leafs. There's kind of guys that were that age with the Leafs that we've seen let slip over the years. Like we've seen Mason Marchment. We've seen like guys like that go on to have
Carter Verhaeghe.
Carter Verhaeghe. I got a Carter Verhaeghe story that I will tell off air. Because I don't want to show it. I don't want to share it on the podcast yet, but one day.
Oh boy.
It's not a bad Carter Verhaeghe story. He wouldn't even know this story exists, I don't think. But like, man, the just the amount of times that like I'm curious, like you might as well see what you got with Matt Hollowell because Victor Mete is he's not great, he's not bad. Hollowell could go out there and get some of that Jordy Ben magic, or he could go out there and he's in Ken Reed's next book about guys that played one NHL game. I do not know what to expect out of Matt Hollowell.
When was the last time the Leafs had a non-first round prospect, like just a guy, come out of the AHL and just grab a job? Like, I don't think they've had anyone do that since Andreas Johnsson, I think, was the last one that really wasn't a highly touted player and came out of the Leafs development system and earned himself a roster spot.
Maybe like Engvall. Like,
I mean, Johnsson was actually good for the Leafs, though.
Hey, Engvall was good for a little bit. This year,
he did play better against the Islanders. He's been better the last couple games, but
no, he hasn't.
Someone
needs to tell this guy it's a contract.
Start of the season.
Yeah, but that's like saying the Leafs are tougher than they were last year. Like the bar's the floor. Like they like, I don't know. Engvall is kind of just right now. Someone needs to tell him it's a contract year and that he's 6'5", because he is.
Tell him it's a contact sport, for fuck's sakes.
Man, who's lit more money on fire, Elon Musk or Pierre Engvall?
Ooh, I think we know the answer. I think you might have gone a little far with where you
like who's losing more than they can afford to lose. Because Elon Musk is going to lose $44 billion and be just fine. Pierre Engvall is going to have to take some shitty 1-year deal with like the Coyotes next year. He keeps this up.
And make sure you get your bets down, folks, when the Coyotes come to town on a Pierre Engvall goal.
Oh yeah, it'll be. Does Nick Ritchie get the assists, or does he just score one of his own?
I don't want to think about it.
Good point. But yeah, that like the Leafs defense right now, is it? Do you make a move? Because like Brody's going to be out longer than expected. I said like we know Muzzin's probably not coming back. Rielly's out for a while. The D-core's not good, but there's also when your 3 best defensemen and your 3 highest paid defensemen are out injured, it's kind of hard to not look weak.
Well, here's the thing. You don't have any open contract slots left. So whatever trade you make is at the very least going to be a pick and a prospect. I don't love the price that's being put on Jacob Chychrun. I don't think that he's the right option for the Leafs to try to bring in. I wouldn't mind seeing them make a move for like a Connor Timmins. I think Connor Timmins could be a nice little addition.
No,
but
I'm putting my foot down on Connor Timmins. No more fucking Sioux Greyhounds.
But he's good.
I don't care. I do not care. No more Sioux Greyhounds.
So you hate Jason Spezza?
I love Jason Spezza. Jason Spezza can come back. But did he even play for the Sioux Greyhounds?
I don't think so. No, Joe Thornton did.
Yeah, and I love Joe Thornton. But I'm not bringing Joe Thornton back to the Leafs anymore.
Hey, you know who played for the Sioux Greyhounds? Your buddy, Mac Hollowell.
Yeah, and that's great. Like, he was already in the organization, but I don't even know if Connor Timmins is any good. I do not watch enough Coyotes games. Just, I saw a tweet associating him to the Leafs and saw a Sioux connection.
he was gonna have to be part of the Darcy Kemper trade. He was sent from Colorado to Arizona, I think with a first for Darcy Kemper. So clearly he's he's 24 now. He plays the right side. And I don't give a shit who he played for as a teenager, man. An addition that helps and that pushes Justin Hall down the depth chart, bring him in. Bring him in, get him here now. But the problem is you don't have any like contract slots to just do picks for a player right now. You have to be sending a person the other way. And when the D is healthy, even without Muzzin, they're pretty good. Like I would rather see them if they're going to allocate resources and they're going to spend at the deadline or before it. I still think that the top six on forward needs a boost. I think that's where you need to spend your assets if it's if I'm Kyle Dubas, I'm looking for a forward, not a defenseman.
Yeah, I think I look at defensemen. The price for defense for Toronto has gone up because teams know how hurt they are back there. But like I think you call Philly about a Justin Braun, you call the Sharks like a Radim Simic, like nothing needle moving, just kind of a guy that you know is an NHL player and would be a better option than like your Metes, your Hollowells, your Phil Crawls kind of thing. That being said, like or this team needs so much secondary scoring. Like how many Leafs bottom six players are you like confident with in the playoff lineup? Because I think there's four right now for me.
I like Zach Aston Reese. I like the physicality that he brings, so he's in. David Camp, obviously in. Calle Yarncroke for sure, and I don't know. I see Denny Malgin. I really, really like him the way he's been playing this year, but I don't know if the bottom six is where he should be. I think if he gets back into the lineup and you're looking and Robertson's not really producing on that line with Tavares and Marner, I think you give or not Mete Malgin a look with Tavares and Marner. Like I don't see like I think that might be a great line.
Listen, I know I'm getting my like I know I'm getting like my I'm getting twisted over Denny Malkin being out of the lineup, which I did not think I would have said 6 months ago. The fact that Dennis Malkin's the one coming out of the lineup when you have Alex Kerfoot and Pierre Engvall providing literally nothing is like Sheldon Keefe is pissing me off right now with his lineup
I mean,
decisions.
both of them are just like, especially Kerfoot. I mean, they're just doing cardio out there. Like
Kerfoot
not a
sucks at hockey. Like I'm sorry that we just have a slander Kerfoot segment every show. He's so bad.
yeah.
Like
Are you saying Kerfoot's the heel? Ah,
fuck off.
that's a dad joke.
He's not
Bad
even a
dad
good
joke.
heel. Like be a jerk if
He's
you're
too
gonna be
nice a
heel.
guy to be a heel.
Man,
He's
he's
too nice a guy to be a heel.
even yesterday, like this is very nitpicky and gonna go unnoticed. Like he tried to fire a puck on net, and it looks like he just did a dump in from like the hash marks. Like this guy's got no confidence out there. He's got no skill to be in the top six. Like I do not know what dirt he has on this management team, but like we could have so easily offloaded him to Seattle and not had to worry about this. We could have easily traded him last year when somehow this guy managed to put up a 50-point season. But nope, we have like 6 points for $3.5 million. Like it's hard to even say he'll be the warm body that moves out for a top six upgrade because why, as a bad team, would you take Kerfoot off the Leafs' hands? Like
Yeah, the thing that drives me nuts with Kerfoot is it's a little bit like Mikheyev used to be, where God, it's not a shortage of opportunities. Like he's got the speed to get away and get clear, and he gets all kinds of breakaways, and not once, like never, absolutely never puts the puck in the net.
It's brutal.
It's so frustrating.
The Leafs secondary scoring is so bad right now. Like this is from Pisano Romano on Twitter. Basically, the big four, obviously they're gonna get their cookies, but like Bunting 10 points, Kampf 8 points, Yarncroke 6 points, Furfoot 6 points, Engvall 4 points, Malgin 4 points, Ashton Reese 3 points. Like you're not expecting. You're getting about what you expect from Kampf. You're getting about what you expect from Malgin, Ashton Reese. Like I've liked that line, and I don't get why Malgin's being scratched here. Like it seems like you cannot tell me that Engvall and Kerfoot deserve to be in the lineup over Dennis Malgin. I'd argue Adam Gaudette deserves to be in the lineup before them to just make it about him again. But like even Bunting is starting to find his groove. Like I do not understand like the Leafs secondary scoring right now. Like out of those guys, the two leaders in goals are not Kerfoot, Yarncroke and Bunting who have 4 goals. But like there's guys there with like 1, 2 goals. Like they need more secondary scoring right now because we saw what happened in the Montreal series, and maybe it's a bad example because the secondary scoring was pretty good, but like you shut down one of the top 2 lines, especially if you shut down the Matthews line. They're boned in the playoffs. Like
Yeah, and a lot of that Montreal series I attribute to Carey Price going God mode. Uh, he was
no, they
fucking
choked.
unbeatable.
The
But
Leafs get no excuses for Montreal for me.
I mean, the one thing you said if you shut down the Matthews line, you basically shut down the Leafs. Can we put a little bit of respect on John Tavares' name? Talking about points totals and stuff. Dude has 22 points through 20 games, 11 goals, 11 assists. What an absolute monster. Like, we talked preseason about Tavares, like, having a full off season to be healthy and like really work on his skating and everything, and he switched skating coaches and everything, and it was like a hoping against hope that that $11 million contract doesn't end up being an anchor, and he's come out this year and been an absolute monster for the team. Like, we're turning this around. We're going positive here. Johnny Tavares has been a fucking beast for the Leafs.
He's been great this year. He's been their best player. Like him and Willie have pulled their weight and then some this year. Um, like I rip on Willie a
And
lot, but
Marner
like
too. Marner had what, a 13 game point streak?
that's the most passive 13 game point streak I think I've ever seen though.
Yeah, but
Like
it's points in 13 straight games.
yeah,
Like
but like how
not
for secondary assists?
that's not something to scoff at. That's not something to scoff at. Come on.
He had points in like the Ducks game. Like
Yeah, because he's still a good hockey player.
I don't
He
know.
was
I just
terrible. He was terrible in the 3-on-3, but he's still a good hockey player, man.
yeah, I
He's
would
a hell of
argue
a hockey player.
he's a great player. I'm not saying Mitch Marner's a bum, but like I think my Matthews you shut down Matthews, you shut down the Leafs point is almost more amplified with the season Tavares is having because the Leafs goal scoring this year has sucked despite John Tavares returning to form. Like Matthews has not pulled his weight offensively, and I know he's had 9 or 10 goals now, but like he has 3 at
He's
five
heating
on
up a little
five.
bit.
He's heating up
Yeah,
a little bit, but
heating
like
up.
has he scored on a shot at 5 on 5 yet this year?
I think he's had 2 tips, and I don't know, one was like a tap in.
Yeah, like where's the Auston Matthews just wrist shot off the rush at 5 on 5? We talked about
I
this
think
last show. He was the king of that for years, and this year it's just not been there.
I think a big part of it is teams are putting so much focus on trying to shut him down. But
He's good enough that that
it's
shouldn't
another
matter.
thing. It's another, yeah. It's one of those things where it's like there's sometimes that he looks engaged, like fully engaged, and he just starts dominating the play. And there's other times where he'll take his shots and everything. He gets his shots at 5-on-5, but they're not. He's not close in enough. Like he's taking these shots from outside and trying to score from distance, like long distance. I see him going over to the point for one timers all the time. It's like, man, it just he's a fantastic shooter. He's a ridiculous shooter, but he's just it's not going to work from there, man. You've got to get in closer, and I think goalies are starting to key in on him a little bit more as well. It's always tough when you have somebody who you haven't really faced before who's got a wicked shot, but I mean, you see the same guy enough times, and you start to get used to how he shoots. You start to get a little bit of a book on him as a goalie, and I saw it a lot with Tristan Jarry. I thought when the Leafs played the Penguins was just ready for Auston Matthews to fire the puck, and he seemed to know where the puck was going when Matthews went to shoot.
Which is fair, but like someone like Ovechkin shot from the Ovechkin spot since I was 4 years old, and it's never been like that
No,
guy's still the
that's
best goal.
different though, because that's a one timer where the goalie's got to be on the move while trying to make the shot. Matthews is coming in and he's shooting on goalies. It seems just the way the plays develop. Matthews is shooting on goalies who are ready and waiting for the shot, and these are NHL goalies. And if they're ready for a shot, and they know where it's going. It doesn't matter how great your shot is. You're gonna have a really hard time scoring. And I think that's what's sort of hurting Matthews so far this year. I think it's just because he's a 60 goal scorer, last year and everything. He seems to, I don't know if it's in his head that he thinks he can score from absolutely anywhere, but he's taking shots that he wouldn't have taken last year, and they aren't going in, and it's frustrating for him. But he's got to remember that he's got to work that little bit extra for his goals. And I'm not saying Matthews doesn't work hard, but he's got to work harder to get shots in better positions off better puck movement.
Yeah, like it's the thing with Matthews is like I'm never gonna accuse that guy of not caring or not trying or not working his ass off and like he's been more physical as of late. It's just the shot selection hasn't been there. And this is kind of one of those like, all right, you went out and scored 60 last year. And I'm not expecting him to even score 60 this year. Even like going into the season, it's like 60 goals has been done by three people in the salary cap era, like him, Ovi, and Stamkos. Like it's and Ovechkin's the greatest goal scorer ever to step on a hockey rink. Like it's hard to do, but like I get frustrated when I see like last year Matthews was right up there in the conversation with Connor McDavid. And maybe this is just a testament to how good McDavid's been this year, but like I think it's a bit of both, just McDavid being so good, Matthews struggling a bit. Like that gap is
Oh,
bigger than the one
it's
between Matt
it's
Murray and Jack Campbell now. Like,
it's it's wide. It's wide this year. Yeah, Connor McDavid's just gone off this year, man. He's just decided I score goals now, and I score a lot of goals now.
yeah, and I think that's where I get frustrated with Matthews. Like, it's not when I'm seeing the NHL leaders in goals, I expect Matthews to be like in the top three year in year out, not third on the Leafs in goals. Like
Yeah, and I mean, going back to last year, Matthews at one point was like 10 goals behind Draisaitl, and still came back. Like I have confidence that he's gonna figure it out. But for right now, he just doesn't look like the Auston Matthews that we saw last year.
Yeah, like I get it. He has slow start. But like for me, there's no reason that Matthews should be in the same goal category as like Zach Hyman. And like this is no disrespect to any of these players, like Nino Niederreiter, Brock Nelson, Timo Meyer. Like there's a lot of guys that he's clearly significantly better than that have a lot more goals than he does. It's frustrating because Matthews is so good at other stuff. He's maybe the most complete player in the NHL, but there's just
The way
it's
he
just frustrating.
the way he strips pucks off people is I've never seen anybody just like constantly swipe pucks from people like Austin Matthews does. He's so good at it.
He's
But
such a
yeah,
but
I just want to see the puck go in the back of the net for him more. Like,
especially at
please
5-on-5. All of his goals where you're like, that's vintage Auston, have come on the power play.
Yeah, which I mean, I guess it's a positive that the Leafs power play is working. Like you right now, you don't want to take a penalty against the Leafs.
Yeah, they
Like
scored pretty much right
within
away
20
tomorrow's.
seconds. Yeah, within like 20 seconds, the puck's in the back of your net. Like it's just a bad idea. Don't do it. But going back to the Buffalo game, Matt Murray, man, we talked last week before. I think it was before Matt really even got a start, wasn't it? I don't think
Yeah, because he
I don't
returned
think
on
he had played a game
Tuesday.
when we recorded last week. Yeah.
Yeah, because he
Uh,
returned Tuesday. We recorded Monday night, so
yeah. 3 games for Matt Murray. What do you think?
very, very good. I said going into the season, like my concerns with Matt Murray were him staying healthy more than they were him stopping pucks. And the Montreal game, like he was okay. Like the glove hand kind of got exposed, but he gets hurt in warm-ups. And then he looked very good against Pittsburgh. Like he had a rough 5 minutes in the second period. Admittedly, I
That
ended up
Crosby,
the game because I was at
that
work,
Crosby
but
backhand, that Crosby backhand is ridiculous.
oh, it's so good.
Like,
And like,
so fucking good.
and then against
Like,
Buffalo, he
like
was
we're going,
great.
oh,
Like,
Matt Murray should have that. Yeah, we're going, oh, Murray should have that. It's like, wait a minute, no, it's Sidney Crosby throwing a backhand.
yeah, like
Like, that's not a normal backhand to try to stop.
yeah, and like I think that's but he was really good. One thing that shocked me was that was his first game in Pittsburgh since being traded. And I was like, what? I was like, Matt Murray was on Ottawa for a couple years, but I remember it was Canadian division season, and then he played 20 games last year. But like he looked great in the Pittsburgh game. He looked good in the New Jersey game. He looked very good against Buffalo.
He was
And
fantastic against Buffalo. And I'll tell you, I have to say, they looked fantastic against Buffalo. And I'm not talking about how they played. The reverse retros for the Leafs. We talked about Florida's and the Buffalo, the goat head jerseys, but my God, those reverse retros on the ice are gorgeous.
they
I want
looked
them wearing those every home game.
the Leafs should like next time they play an outdoor game. Those jerseys are meant for a winter classic.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Like those were
Absolutely beautiful.
my parents keep asking me, they're like, hey, like, you any Christmas gift ideas? And I'm kind of like, I don't know, like maybe Modern Warfare. I haven't really thought of it much yet. I'm a size PS5, but maybe a reverse retro jersey because those are fucking beautiful.
I've been having the conversation with my wife, and it's been narrowed down to a goalie bag with wheels because I'm sick of carrying a 50-pound bag out of the fucking dressing room after playing for an hour and a half. Um, or yeah, one of the new reverse retros.
Yeah,
And
like
then
they
the
are.
the cheap the cheap prick part of part of my brain just says just order one off DH Gate. It's fine.
Yeah,
Get
no,
the
those.
get the get the made in China knockoff. It's okay. But
Yeah, oh, those jerseys are. Those were. That was maybe the nicest Leaf setup. I know everyone is super nostalgic about the Sandini era ones, and I could
well,
already tell.
it was a reverse of that. It was a tribute to that, and
Yeah, I
of
think I like
course,
these ones more.
we're finally doing video, so I can point. Oh, other shoulder to my Gary Roberts one. So I think it would be really nice for my jersey collection to have a home and an away in that style with the solid shoulders. I mean, they were absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that game, man. That game was like the definition of look good, play good because like jerseys were phenomenal,
Oh, that was big dick energy from the start.
and then usually like that game was usually a recipe for Leafs loss, and they won.
It
They
was never
killed
in
them.
doubt. It was
Like
never in doubt.
it started. I'm not gonna lie. I got very hammered, and my perception of the game kind of gets a little wonky after about the second period because my buddies were running late. And me and my friend were drinking in my basement before we were going to the bar, and we are like watching the Leaf game. We're just like, they should probably be here soon because we're like already drunk. And I was going like beer for goal with the Leafs, and then eventually exceeding it because they were flying on all cylinders that game, and they looked phenomenal, man. Like, and there was like Giordano, great game. Matthews had a nice shot. David Camp scored, I believe, which is always great.
No, he had the assist on the Geo goal. He started the play
That's what
on
it,
Geo's shorty.
I don't know why it was, again, booze brain, I guess. But do we want to talk about the Geo goal?
Yeah, I think we have to be like so many. Oh, I saw so many. Oh, the situation rooms in Toronto, like that's ever fucking helped us before. Like, let's make what they could. People that work for the NHL are not Leafs fans. Like that's a goal all day long. Just because the net's off, like if the net gets knocked off by a Leaf there, it's no goal. But the fact that it wasn't Cousins.
I think it
You
was.
remember the poor Saber that went flying headfirst into the net on
That was
that one was
Ashland.
no, no, I don't think. But
Whoever it
uh,
was.
yeah, took the net off. Like that puck was going in. Okay, there was no like there was no debate to it, and people going, "Oh, well, it went over the hole for the post a little bit." So what you're saying is it would have bounced off the inside part of the post and gone in? I don't understand the argument there. And the rule is not the rule in the rule book is not that you have to have gotten the shot off before the net comes off. That is not the rule. This isn't basketball. It's not something where it has to have left your hands before the buzzer goes. Okay, like not the same thing. It has to be an imminent scoring chance. Mark Giordano with the puck on his stick with the goalie laying on his stomach, and Giordano is 10 feet from the edge of the crease. That is the definition of an imminent scoring chance that would have been ruined by that. And you can't call it a penalty shot because the goalie's not on his stomach for a penalty shot. And you can't just call it a delay a game penalty because, well, no, you took a fucking whole goal away by taking the net off. If you allow that to not be a goal, you're basically saying that all like, you can just take the net off whenever you want. As soon as there's a scoring chance against, to take the net off, no goal, it's all
Old
good. We'll
David
take 3
Leggio.
minutes. Exactly.
Like,
Or
and the,
didn't Hendrik Lundqvist did it once when the net was like half off, and he just went and
probably.
knocked it the rest of the way off. Yeah.
Yeah, like, but even like the Sabres scored a goal where the net came off last year during the Heritage Classic. And admittedly, because I'm a biased Leafs fan at the end of the day, um, I was upset because the net was off. But there was no, everyone was like, yep, this is what the rule book says, that goal should have counted. There was no debate. There was no referendum. There was no like, oh,
No,
Gary
no,
Bettman
it
wants
was
Buffalo to win the Stanley Cup. Like,
yeah, it was. Oh shit, is that the rule? Oh, okay, well, fine then.
yeah. I was like, Mrazek should have simply saved the puck because he'd knocked the net off and let a weak one through his rifle in what was like his second last game as a Leaf.
Oh god, you so bad.
Like he looked so good. He had some of the best pads this team has ever had for a goalie, and he was so bad. Like man, but like in there's no universe, especially in the center of the universe, where that goal doesn't count. Like there's a precedent set in a previous Leaf Sabres game, and it's a goal. I'm sorry. It's a goal. Like that game was
Don't
so
worry about it.
good though.
You had and the game ended 5-2. Okay,
Jake
you're
B.
not
Leaf special.
you would have to call off 2 more goals before it even mattered. So I don't understand why people are complaining about it. It's a goal all day long. It didn't end up mattering because the Leafs just steamrolled the Sabres. The only reason the Sabres even got on the board is because they were being just spoon-fed penalties. Like, which it's so annoying to see every single game, whichever team is ahead, all of a sudden takes a chintzy penalty. Like, the NHL swears up and down that there's no game management going on. Dude, we can see it. It's plain as day. When the Leafs had the lead against the Islanders, Denny Malgin got flipped on his fucking head by Casey Cizikas. Admittedly, Cizikas, it was an accident. That doesn't matter. Okay, we saw that last year when Timothy Liljegren toe-picked and dove head first into Trevor Zegras' knee and still got a fucking penalty for it.
That was like, so when that happened.
Was fucking hilarious. But
like,
but it's one of those things. Like, Malgin got flipped on his fucking head. Matthews took a knee-on-knee hit that scared the shit out of me, and nothing at all. And that's where, I mean, going back to the start of the episode, Rasmus Sandin stepped up and decided, you can't do that unless you punch me in the teeth 6 or 7 times afterwards. Like,
do you think Sandin
fucking brutal that you can't get that call?
Last year, remember? Do you think Sandin that because Spezza stood up for him after Pionk last year? Like, do you think that crossed his brain at all while he went to go do it?
Man, it was very close to the same hit that took Sandin out. Like, very, very close. And yeah, absolutely. I think the memory of that hit definitely, came rushing back to Sandin in that moment for sure. I think that had something to do with it. But it's also your best player and probably the best player the Leafs have ever had, taking a dirty, cheap ass knee-on-knee hit in a tight game. Like, you have to stand up for your player. Whether you've had the same experience in the past or not, you have to stand up for your guy there, man. You have to.
Yeah, and like there were so many brutal calls during that game. Like there was where Bunting was just getting jumped by Mayfield and Clutterbuck, who each got 1 penalty, and then Bunting got 2 for some reason for, I guess, going after each guy. Like
for getting put in a headlock from behind, that's roughing against Clutterbuck. Like, fuck off, Wes. And the Jamie Benn holding the stick penalty. Like Jordy, sorry.
The one that drinks beer and eats below the belt.
I don't know. Jamie Benn went down last night. Did you see that?
Did.
For the first time in his life, Jamie Benn went down.
Boy, Jamie.
But, I mean, Jordy, Mr. and Mrs. Benn, don't do that again. Jamie and Jordy, come on. You're screwing up amateur podcasters everywhere. That holding the stick only happened because he was being hooked at the time. You can call the holding the stick, but call the hook too, for fuck's sakes, man. Like, he didn't just drag that stick into his gut. It was already there, and yeah, he grabbed a hold of it. I would too if I had a stick in my fucking gut. Like, it's hard to say. You can't sit here and blame the refs after every loss. I get that. And I know that Leafs fans have a horrible reputation for complaining about the refs, but you see the shit plain as day, man. Like, very, very easy to see.
Wes McCauley's just stupid. Like that's the only way I can.
He's considered the best ref in the NHL. Why? Because he goes and does a little fucking dance or says, that's a penalty funny.
5 minutes for fighting. Like, I said this to you earlier, but like, you were like, if you better be yelling at Wes McCauley right now, or else I'm going to be looking for a new co-host. And I didn't know Wes McCauley was reffing because he wasn't making it about himself. Like, he was just bad. Like,
yeah, well,
I hate that they lost that game because that was such a perfect fucking hockey game from the Leafs until Shelgren did that. Like, Tavares scores against the Islanders. It's awesome. Like, it's every time the Leafs play the Islanders, there will always be that kind of bars. Like, Matthews got a goal at 5-on-5. They got into a fight. They played with an edge. I thought they looked good defensively. Ilya Sorokin was so good. Like, that was a treat to watch yesterday. Ilya Sorokin's performance.
He absolutely robbed Mitch Marner with the blocker.
He made a couple 10-bell saves that game. Like,
but like the one on Marner just stood out to me as just pure larceny. And like the problem is, we're sitting here, we're making excuses for the Leafs. Like, we're saying, like the refs were shitty and the other goalie played really, really, really good. Win the fucking game, god damn it. Win. Like, all you guys talk about is fucking, we're here to win games, we're here to win games. I don't care about my numbers as long as we win games. Well, fucking win.
Yeah.
Your winning record under Gary Bettman. I know they're fourth in the league right now, but they've lost 4 games in overtime.
Yeah, like the loser point needs to go, and I've said this pre the Leafs being the beneficiary, but like even still, like the Leafs are not the second best team in the Atlantic, at least this season. I do not care what the standings say. Like they're basically hovering around 500 if overtime losses actually counted as losses and not whatever they count them as. Like, yeah, they're 500 right now. They're 10-10, and like a team like the Islanders have less points than the Leafs do and 2 more wins. It does not make sense.
Yeah. The point system is stupid right now, and it is benefiting the Leafs, but like, fuck, we gotta figure that out.
Like, they get the red hot New Jersey Devils tomorrow, which should be what's more Leafy? The Devils set their franchise record for consecutive wins against the Leafs, or the Leafs break the record tomorrow, or the Leafs break the streak tomorrow
with half a defense score.
Which one's more likely?
I'm gonna put my money down on a 4-3 Leafs win. I think we're gonna win this one. I think they are. They're gonna have Matt Murray in net. He's gonna have to stand on his head if they're gonna win this one, because our defense are all hurt. But I think Leafs get out with a 4-3 win.
I would love that, and it's gonna be like in New Jersey. It should be a good hockey game. I don't know. Should be a good one. Hopefully they break the record. I would love for them to break the record. I don't want to see the stupid
break
the streak. Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30.
Although
get Adam Wilde in the next podcast, like that one guy who's like,
well, I don't know, man. I've got Heisher, Hughes, and Vanacek on my fantasy team right now, so
I don't think I have a Devil.
That's why you lose every week.
I'm winning right now. I'm 500. I'm 500, just like the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I think I'm second in my division too. So, pretty good way to do it. And the Leafs will hopefully be above 500 tomorrow, and the New Jersey Devils will be on a losing streak for what feels like the first time this season since like those 3 games where they wanted to fire Lindy Ruff. But you'll find that out sooner rather than later. And in the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter at Cole_Hayes. You can follow Ben at Life of a D-Man. You can follow the podcast at COTU_podcast. I'm like a New Jersey Devils legit streak now with getting this right. I'm about a month clean from getting this right. And yeah, should we get a Go Leafs go for the road?
Absolutely. Go Leafs go.
Go Leafs go, baby.